So let's dive into a really fascinating story. Back in 1974, a voice that said it was a non-physical entity started speaking through a man named Jacques Purcell. This entity, called Lazaris, had a really unique message about love. But here's the thing. This story doesn't start with some guru on a mountaintop. Nope, it starts with a totally ordinary guy just trying to climb the corporate ladder. And that ordinary guy, Jack Purcell, he was absolutely terrified. I mean, this quote just says it all. It really captures his shock, his bewilderment when he first heard this voice coming through him. It's such a dramatic, unsettling start to a journey he never, ever asked for. So, who was this man at the center of it all? Before we can even get to the message, we really have to understand the messenger. A guy who was, by all accounts, just about the most unlikely candidate you could possibly imagine for a spiritual channel. Yeah, Josh Purcell was your classic company man. He was totally focused on his career in insurance, climbing that corporate ladder. Metaphysics, spirituality, that stuff wasn't even on his radar. That was his partner Penny's world. Jaj was all about the job. It all really came to a head in 1974. See, after this one-off, super weird experience in a motel room a few months earlier, it happened for real on October 3rd. A totally new, distinct voice started speaking through him while Penny frantically took notes. And for the rest of that year, these sessions happened daily, a period Lazaris later called the final adjustments to kind of lock in the connection. So what's it actually like for Jamarech when this is happening? Well, he says it's a complete blank. He describes it as being like sleeping without dreaming. He discloses his eyes, and then hours later opens them again with zero memory of anything that was said. And this lack of awareness has a pretty interesting side effect. It guarantees total confidentiality for anyone having a private session with Lazaris. Okay, so now that we've met the messenger, let's turn to the source of the message itself. Who or what exactly is Lazaris? Well, according to Lazaris itself, it's a spark of consciousness that has never been physical. So it's not a ghost. It's not a reincarnated being. It describes itself as a multidimensional awareness, which is actually why it always uses the pronoun we. It's because it's aware of its existence on many different levels, all at the same time. Lazaris is also really, really clear about what it's not. It says it's not some guru demanding you follow it. It's not a father figure that you have to please or worry about disappointing. And it's not God, although it does say it's a piece of God, just like every single one of us. And maybe most importantly, it says it is not here to save anyone because it totally respects humanity's power to create its own reality. So how does this communication supposedly work? Well, Lazaris uses this great analogy of a television. It says it's not in the TV set. It sends a signal, a vibration from its own reality. That signal gets downstepped through different planes until Jock's mind, the antenna, can pick it up. Then his body and his vocal cords act like the speaker, translating those vibrations into words we can actually hear. And why bother communicating at all? Well, the whole stated purpose is to offer us a choice. Lazaris suggests that for centuries, we've associated spiritual growth with pain and suffering. That no pain, no gain idea. The alternative it presents is a path of growth that's all about joy, discovery, and love. And this brings us right to the heart of the message. Lazaris lays out this incredibly detailed, really actionable framework for what it calls the single most important spiritual tool there is, self-love. I mean, we've all heard it, right? In pretty much every self-help book or seminar, the ultimate answer is always, you just need to love yourself more. But it's so vague. How do you actually do that? What does that even mean? This is the exact problem that Lazaris sets out to solve with a really concrete blueprint. So why is self-love such a big deal? Well, according to Lazaris, it's not just some nice, fluffy idea. It's the ultimate tool for personal growth. It's the only real cure for the negative ego and self-sabotage. It's the alchemy that actually turns a grown-up into a true adult. And it's the direct line to your own higher consciousness. And here it is. This is the core framework. Lazaris describes love as this synergy, a combination of doing something and being something. As you can see, on one side, you've got 7 actions you can take, and on the other, 7 states of being you're trying to provide for yourself. The idea is to pair them up. So you take an action, like give, with the specific goal of providing yourself with a feeling like security. Let's just clarify a couple of these terms because the definitions here are really specific. So respect in this context isn't about what you've accomplished or earning esteem for a job well done. That's self-esteem. Self-respect here is defined as the act of honoring your own emotional nature, of accepting and valuing your feelings, whatever they are. And in the same way, intimacy is way bigger than just the physical sense. It's defined as being fully present, in the moment, with yourself or with someone else, with real passion and spontaneity. It's all about that deep, present moment connection. But here's the thing, self-love is just the foundation. Once you've really built it, the focus naturally starts to expand outward. So what does all this mean for our relationships with other people? Now, this is where it gets really interesting, because Lazaris tackles a common metaphysical argument. The logic usually goes like this. If you create your own reality, then everyone else is basically an illusion, a mirror for you. And if that's true, then you can only really love yourself. But Lazaris counters this by asking a simple question. What if you created those illusions for the specific experience of loving them? This completely reframes it. Loving others isn't a logical impossibility. It's one of the main reasons we create reality in the first place. And this quote just brings that whole point home. Mastering self-love isn't the finish line, it's the key that unlocks the door to something bigger. It's what allows you to truly love others, and in doing that, to give what Lazaris calls the greatest gift of love. And that leaves us with this final, really thought-provoking question. If other people are, in a way, illusions that you've created to learn from, what if the ultimate expression of love is to care for them so completely, so fully, that through your love, you actually make that illusion real? That is a powerful idea to sit with.